Hi, Dave.
Morning.
It looks like Mike Smith's in the starters net. Are you going back with him tonight?
Yeah, Mike Smith will play tonight.
Is that just a chance to just get him back in there and let him find his groove again?
Yeah, we played 2 games well, and that's not so good the other night. We were looking for a change of momentum, and so we'll put him back in tonight. Hopefully, we get better results.
Rob Tuchkowski, Post Media.
Hi, Dave. Can you just maybe take us behind the thought process when you guys are sitting down and deciding who to start in net? Is it hunches? Is it numbers? What's the decision typically?
Flip a coin. No, we've talked a lot about it. Koski's played a lot for us. We got to get Schmitty up and going here, and he's, like I say, his first 2 starts were really strong. Last one, we give up some quality chances that. We just wanted to change the momentum, so we'll throw him back in. We need to get him up, and we need to get both of them playing.
Jets and Oilers have had some pretty, wide open, entertaining games, which, a lot of people love and maybe some coaches don't care for as much. As coaches, are you guys telling your players to try and reel it in a little bit, or do you just go with the flow here?
No, you're always trying to make sure you're taking mistakes away, but sometimes the game, you get opportunities and players make great plays and they score goals. So, the other night we got down 4-1. We had to try to get ourselves back in the game. So there's some games it just seems like there's more mistakes than others. But ultimately there's mistakes that happen in the game all the time. It's how much you capitalize on them, and then that starts dictating somehow how the rest of the game goes.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Dave, Ethan Bear, he's not quite ready to play yet?
No, he's had a little setback here, so he's not available tonight.
And what about Caleb Jones? Will he play tonight?
He's up for discussion. We've got a couple injury situations we're looking at, so he's in the discussion for tonight, but we haven't finalized anything yet.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
What about up front? A guy like Dominic Cahoon was replaced a little bit on that line. Does he get back on Draisaitl's side?
We'll see. We got a couple injury things up in front too that we're just tinkering with here that we'll decide after the morning skate.
There's a huge difference between the defensive effort you guys had against Montreal and a game against Winnipeg where you gave up a couple of free ones probably. How do you, is that just the character of the season that changes? How do you, I guess the easy question is, how do you play like you played in Montreal every night?
Well, if you look at the first period the other night, we played fairly well. I think we only gave up 2 or 3 chances the whole period, one on the power play or a couple on the power play. So we were fine in the first period. We made a couple mistakes that ended up in the back of our net quick, and you're down 4-1. So, you as much as you want to play good defense, you got to get yourself back in the game. So there's some things that you have to do to try to push your team to see if you can get a win. Now, we got ourselves back in the game, and then we ended up making a mistake again in the third that went in the back of the net. So each game is a different game. We got up in Montreal, and you just played real strong, and we were able to push that game along. But when you're down, you still got to find a way to win. So each game is different. You're not trying to, we don't go into one game thinking, oh, we're going to play an offensive game tonight, and now we got to play defensive. You're trying to do the right things all the time, but sometimes the game dictates how the mindset goes.
Jack Michaels, 630 Chad.
Dave, just one for you, and it's a bit of a follow-up on Specs. The other day, you played a game against Ottawa, and you kind of pointed out, hey, don't get caught up into the shot metrics. A lot of those were from long range.
Yeah.
What did you feel about the other night? Because if you looked at the box score and didn't see the game, you'd think Edmonton did most things right except win. What was your assessment?
No, I think we did enough things well to win that game, but ultimately we didn't win. Some of the chances we gave up were real good chances against, and those are the ones you want to take out of the game. Ultimately there's 2 goals there that are deflections from shots that get through from the point, but in both of those deflections, we got a guy standing right beside the guy that's deflecting the puck. Now, would you like to see better coverage there? A little more desperation to make sure the guy can't get a stick on it? Those are the ones that we can clean up. But sometimes you got to give the other team credit. They make good plays and they get chances. But the ones that you can take away by competing a little harder defensively, those are the ones that you can hopefully take out of the game. On the other side, we had some good chances we didn't capitalize on. That's the way the game goes sometimes.
Ryan Rashog, TSN.
Dave, Nugent Hopkins and McDavid have played a lot together the last little while. What do you like about that pairing, and why is seem like a good mix?
Well, they work off each other very well. I mean, it's the one thing that's missing is they haven't capitalized as much as you know. We chart a lot of the chances and stuff. They've got a lot more chances than or it seems like they should have more goals than they have, and that's probably more on Nugent's part. But they continue to generate chances. They you know, they make good plays. They read off each other well, and so that line's been a good line for us in generating. You'd like to see them. You know, I think time will come when they start to get rewarded more for what they're doing.
You've used McDavid and Draisaitl together, coming off of penalty kills to get them both on the ice. Their results 5-on-5 on the ice together this year are pretty good. Is that something that you? I mean, it's obviously a tool you have at your disposal. Yeah. What's your philosophy on when to deploy that, and you know, not to use it too much, or what's your thoughts?
There's just different points in the game where, depending on how the game's going, depending on TV timeouts, depending on a lot of things, that I can get them together. But ultimately, both of those guys can drive their own line. But when they are together, you can get a little push. Like, we got the power play goal the other night to get it to 4-2, and then we had a shift. I think it was after an icing or a shift after a TV commercial that we could put them both on in the offensive zone. We ended up getting another one. So there's times when you can use them together, and obviously they're two great players. They play well together, but they drag other people into the fight too when they're apart.
Kelly Moore, CGOB.
Hey, Dave. It was probably just another day at the office for Connor McDavid on Monday, but be curious to. Was it maybe a little more feisty between he and Neil Pionk? I know they had a couple of exchanges. Neil was out there quite a bit against them. Is that an out-of-the-norm type matchup, or is that basically what you see every night when Connor's playing?
No, you know what? I see that every night, and to me, one of the differences in Connor's game this year, he's engaging in that physical more. Like, he's defended harder this year. He's in more battles. He's you know, he's around a lot of that contact a lot more this year, and he's embraced that and took that challenge, and I think his game has gone to another level.
Yeah, that was quite apparent. One other question for you, Dave. Alex Chason, when he has a night like he had the other night, and again, not seeing you guys play all the time, but he has shown at different points in his career that he's capable of that. What have you seen from him so far, and where can he take his game from here?
Well, I think what he is, he's a big guy. He's a good power play player, net front. He understands that role well. The thing about it, you can shoot the puck. Like, in practice, you watch him shoot, you think he should score more. And he's kind of a streaky scorer. I mentioned the other night after the game that Glenn Gullickson mentioned that as soon as Chason gets one, it's amazing how many times he seems like he finds another one in the game, and that's exactly what happened. So he's a good veteran player. He's a real pro. We've had him. He started in the lineup. He missed some games out of the lineup, but he's come back, and you're going to get a solid effort out of a real honest commitment to work and try to do what we're trying to do as a team. And when he finds some chances, he has the ability to score.
Jason Greger, TSN 1260.
Dave, I know as a coach, you obviously don't want to exchange chances and have high-scoring games, but you and the Jets this year, every game's been high-scoring. Paul Maurice addressed it yesterday that just, some teams are, their systems match and styles match against one another. So do you try to battle more defensively against this team, or are there some games where you're just expecting that there's going to be more exchanging of chances?
No, you try to battle defensively every game. I mean, every game you go in with the same mindset. If you got to be strong defensively, whoever you play. But I think you got two teams, and especially at the forward position, both teams have some high-end players. That those guys make good plays. You can play great defense against them, and you're still gonna give up some chances. I mean, that's what real good offensive players do, And if you look at both these teams, they have high-end offensive players, so you're going to get some chances. Then it comes down to you got the goaltenders. If the goaltenders are both on their game, I remember we had one game last year in Winnipeg. I think it ended up 1-0 in a shootout or overtime or something. And both goaltenders were fantastic in the game. So you're going to get chances. Sometimes it depends on how well the goaltenders are playing, or how the chances, if they're really good and the good players capitalize on those chances, then you're going to get more goals.
And I apologize if I missed this earlier, but did you give us an update on Lagesson and how long you think he might be out?
He's still getting some treatments here today. He's day-to-day right now.